Hi, Cubicle Crashers. I'm Lydia Lee, and welcome to another episode of Screw the Cubicle TV, where we'll be exploring the freedom-based mindset, business, and lifestyle, of course, on your terms. So today I want to share with you a personal story of mine, of when I left my corporate job, and a cushiony one, of almost six figures about 4 years ago. So if you've climbed the corporate ladder like I have and, paid your dues and go, I've done so much work in getting this role that I really want or getting the money that I really want, am I really a fool to leave all this? And that is, really a natural question to have. And it was exactly what I was thinking at the time. This whole six-figure salary and some security of a job, the medical plan, all the things that come with that type of status in a way. There is a thought of, am I leaving this to do something that I could really do? So I hope that me sharing my story of what I've learned in the past 4 years in taking that leap and what I've really learned to what I thought of before actually didn't really happen in my journey when I actually pursued entrepreneurship. I hope that you'll be able to discern some of your limiting beliefs around it, and maybe some of it will resonate with you if that was the question that's been preventing you from taking the leap. So one of the things that crossed my mind, which probably have crossed yours, if you're making a good salary right now in your corporate job, is the whole misconception of needing to make the same amount of money in your salary to be able to quit in the first place. Maybe that could be true for you if, let's say, you were the only sole provider of the family, or you have like tons of kids to take care of, for sure. I'm not saying that this is the only truth, but most of the time we make that assumption without knowing that the numbers are true for us. So it took me a long time to quit, actually, 3 years before the day I actually decided I was going to quit, to be able to really take the leap, because I was under this impression that unless I was making close to what I was making in corporate, I didn't have a chance to leave, until I really looked into my break-even point. And in my other videos before, I've talked a little bit about this, is figure out the numbers for yourself, after you've consolidated and really understanding where you're spending your money, to really understand your survival break-even point of what you really need if you weren't to go out eating and buying shoes and all the things that you might do spending your money. So that number was a lot lower than I thought, and I really didn't need to be earning the same amount as my corporate job, especially at the end. I made close to six figures. It was way more than enough than I actually need. And that really prevented me from even thinking of that possibility. And really, when I looked at why I wanted to make six figures at the time, why did I strive for that corporate role that allowed me to make that amount, was really to buy me what? Buy me time, flexibility, the space to create, to travel, to have fun. What does that really cost? And does it really cost six figures to have that that kind of life for myself? And so until I really dig deep in the numbers and priced out kind of where I wanted to live and what I wanted to do with my time, that number didn't really actually match, what I thought had to match the corporate figure. And so if I knew what I knew today, I would have really looked at the numbers for real, before making that assumption, and understanding that there's other ways to live, like kind of where I'm living now, in Bali, where you don't have to spend that much on a monthly basis. So that buys you a bit of time and money, and you may not have to work full time if you're in another country living in kind of different rates and earning in US dollars, for example. So there's always alternative ways. So don't look at the only way preventing you from leaving is that you have to make the same salary. Really figure out the number for yourself, and then make the plan to make sure that whatever you start as a business or a freelance idea can bring you in that kind of income, and then you can be safe enough to leave. The other thing that I really discovered in my journey so far in entrepreneurship is that I'm so much more creative and full of ideas when my work revolved around purpose and service. So a lot of people don't know this, but Screw the Cubicle isn't my first business. So my first business was actually a transition business, which meant I was doing a business idea that I was quite familiar with, which was part of my old corporate role. It was an extension of it. So it wasn't exactly what I did, but it was in the same industry. And even though I'm really grateful for my first business to have helped me escape the cubicle, it still, at about 8 months after I launched it, even though it was making me money and it allowed me the freedom of working from home or anywhere that I wanted, it still was missing this huge gap that I really wanted in my career, which is this feeling of meaning and fulfillment on a deeper level, rather than just a job. So it's quite easy for us when we pick an idea that we haven't thought much about, like a real why behind it or a full purpose about it, we can really fall into the trap of being a glorified employee, really, as as we own the business. And all of a sudden, we're not having fun anymore. We're like, this feels like a job. And that can be quite unsatisfying, which is what I experienced in my 8-month mark. So that prompted me to really think about what was it that I really wanted to share as a message? What were the things that I really gave a shit about that I want to incorporate into my business? And what was I experiencing that would really help people, teach them something that I've gone through that would feel meaningful for me? So I would say, if I knew what I knew today, I would really have done the work in the beginning instead of jumping into an idea that just made money or seemed like a good idea. Really understand if that idea was meant for me. Was it utilizing my best skills? Was it utilizing my best way of expression, the message and the why behind the idea? And then that way my ideas really flourish. They really grow because it really becomes, your business can become a part of your life. It's the way you live your life, your values in your personal life and your business make no difference. It's still you. And so when your business and your personal life can merge together and it's hard to tell the difference, between the two, that's when you can really be as authentic as you can. And then you start to have lots of content, lots of ideas around what your business represents, which is an extension of you, really. And that's really going to bring you more meaning and fulfillment in your life. And the third thing and most important thing that I learned so far was that the boundaries that I have put myself in because of the fear that I had was actually not as bad as I dreamt it up to be. So I remember the 3 main things that I was fearful about was, first of all, that entrepreneurship could be a very lonely road, that I'll be on my own and it would be feeling really lonely and I'm going to miss having a team or a corporate environment. The second thing was, what if I don't make money? What if I can't make it work for myself? And of course, the last thing really boils down to the root of what I believed in myself was that I wasn't good enough. I was plain and simple, maybe not good enough, to do this because there's so much unknowns and so many things that I had to learn that it kind of prevented me from starting the time that I actually really wanted to start. So in terms of the first point, the whole thing of being lonely, that really is, it can be lonely if you want it to be. And you can be as isolated if you're an introvert and you really don't want to work with anyone, you work better alone, you can make that environment for yourself. But for a lot of people like me who are very social, there's other ways to continue to have people around you in a community that is on the same path and wanting to support you because they're on the same journey as you are. So joining co-working spaces, being able to travel with your business and meeting other people, other entrepreneurs, what we call digital nomads on the road. If anything, these days I'm having to escape from the co-working spaces sometimes, work from home because I'm being so social, with this community that I really don't feel lonely at all. So it is all kind of, something I made up and I didn't actually start to really engage with other people until I learned about Facebook groups, Facebook groups of other women entrepreneurs that can relate to my story and could offer me help, like tech help, things that I wasn't really good at, and feel really supported and know that there's other people like you out there. And then the second thing about money, I'm not going to lie. I've been in the 4 years, I have been 3 main times that I've been literally in the minus. Like I told myself if I ever made, if I had less than $1,000 in my bank account, I was going to vamanos and go get a job. And these times happened to me 3 times, and all 3 times were literally minus $1,000. I was in overdraft because I had to spend money on unexpected expenses. I had a flood in my house, had all these kind of unexpected life things happen, and I was kind of in a deep end in a little bit. And you panic in the beginning, you do, because it's something that you fear the most. And then when it did happen for me, even though I had a panic moment, I really made that choice to not face it with that attitude, to think about solutions. You think about how else can you make money really quickly? Can you freelance something? Can you contract out yourself, even if it's work that you don't want to do, but for a short-term amount of time, just to survive and get yourself out of the red zone and making some money again. So it really does, entrepreneurship does give you a platform to start getting creative because you have to. There's no one here to save you. And I can say that each time of the 3 times that it's happened to me, each time after felt better. It didn't feel great, for sure. Nobody wants to be in the hole, but you do think up of creative ways to get yourself out of it. So that really taught me a lesson that when left to my own capability, I can make it work because I don't want to go back to a job. I really have had fun with my newfound freedom, that's something to not give up. And you will think of creative ways to do that and ask for help and ask people how you can get out of the hole and depend on yourself, because you will have that capability after a few months or years of learning how to make money for yourself. And then the last thing, of course, which is kind of this fear of learning things or not being smart enough to do it. Yeah, there's always going to be things to learn. I'm still learning things right now in my business 4 years later, and it doesn't mean that you're not smart enough. It just means that there's a learning curve. You're filling the gap of growth that you need for yourself and your business, and accept that there is a learning process to this whole thing. But it shouldn't prevent you. Something that you just don't know today doesn't mean that you won't know it tomorrow. You only know what you know today, so it's up to you to control the environment and the support you ask for. Take a course, go ask someone that's done it before. There's always knowledge out there to move you forward. I've always said entrepreneurship is like a spiritual journey, actually. I've related it to like a year of entrepreneurship, especially your startup year, is almost like equivalent to like 5 or 10 years of therapy because it's such a great platform for you to challenge yourself, to show up the way that you want to show up, and really face some of the fears and things that we experience as human beings. It's really the best platform to do it. And you can't do that really in a corporate job or a 9 to 5, because most likely if you're in a 9 to 5, you're going to work, the same way every day. You do the same type of work. You eat the same kind of food. You see the same people. It's harder to kind of push the boundaries of what you're capable of because you're in that confinement of that role. So entrepreneurship really offers you a really, really great space for you to really find out who you are and what you're capable of when you really believe in something. So I hope that my story helped inspire you to give it a go, even if it's a bite-sized action towards entrepreneurship, whether you're still working a full-time job while starting to do your business part-time. Don't let some of your fears, stop you from just starting. If I knew that and believed in that, in the beginning, I probably would have quit a long time ago than the day that I actually quit. So I hope that you also think the same way and motivate yourself to find out the answers that you need to really make the environment ready enough for you to take, even if it's a small step of the leap. So I would love to hear your thoughts if any of what I said sparked any curiosity or questions in the stage that you're at. And you can go to screwthecubicle.com in my blog section to comment directly on this video blog, and I will answer you personally and would love to collaborate with you on ideas on how you can leave your cubicle a lot faster than you think as well. Thanks for joining me this week, and see you on the next episode.